Hey everyone, this is Pulkit, and today we are starting with a new series on Android that is networking with Android. So, in this series, we would be having some small sessions about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or at max 30 minutes, and in which we will be covering two to three topics, different topics, and we'll try to cover up all the elements or all the aspects which you should be aware of when you're dealing with network. Okay. So, and although this is a pre-recorded session, you can like ask the question inside the live chat, or if you're watching this video after the live premiere, you can just ask the question in the comment. I will be happy to reply them. Okay. So now, first of all, why do we need to learn networking? So, let's say you are you are done with the part in which you make the UI. You are done with the database as well. You have dealt with the recycle view. You have made some simple app like to do app or like something tic tac toe. Okay, but let's say you are now applying for an internship, and now you want to do some actual internship work. It can be like a small startup, or it can be like a big company as well. Okay. Or let's say you are applying for a job. So in all three cases, you have to the most of the time you have to like deal with some of the networking part, or I would say some of the part in which you have to like make the app more interactive, or I would say user interactive. So and that can be only be done if you are making an application that deals with some networking, or you are dealing with some content that are directly fetch, or I would say directly populated from the internet. So if you're making an application that is basically static application, that won't do a lot of good, because like you wouldn't be able to like do a lot of things. You can add, let's say, 10 things, but after that the user would be like bored, and that wouldn't be like user interactive. That would be like too much interactive to the user. So that would be like a very limited use case of a very limited use of your application. But in order to improvise the use of your application, you have to add the functionality of internet. And in most of the application you see or you use in your in your phone, you may have seen all of the application uses internet these days. Like if you talk about any app like Zomato, Paytm, Swiggy, or Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of the application deals with networking. So we would be going through each of the topics that these company or like this internship should require you, and we would be going through some of the core concepts that you should be aware of, and we should be going some of the advanced concepts, that something like caching, or something like type converters. Okay, so that's it. That is all about the series that we will be doing. So right now, in this session, we will be understanding the concepts, or we would be understanding the terms that you should be aware of when you are dealing with the networking. Okay, so we won't be like doing any code in this session at all. We would be just going through all the terms, all the things that you should be aware of. So first of all, the most important thing I would suggest you to okay, first of all, you should be like install this application that is called postman.com. You can get it from the postman.com. There's an application called Postman. Okay, so first of all, get to the website and download this API, download this application. That is quite useful application. We would be using this application by the end of the session, or maybe in the next video, or in the next session. Okay, so first thing first. Then after that, let's try to understand some of the terms that you may see. Okay, so the most common term that you may uh, listen to, that is called an API. So even if you see this website, you can see there's a lot of API here, and here. So what is an API? So the full form of API, can anybody tell me in the chat what is an full form of API? So the full form of API is Application Program Interface. And what do I mean by that? So application program interface is basically, you can whenever you talk about interface is basically some methods, some things that a person has developed, and you can like use that thing in order to extend that application, or like do some functionality depending upon your use case. So API is basically, you can think of an API as the API is basically a connector or a mediator which provides you with some functionality which you can override, or I would say which you can add into your application and do the work depending upon your requirement. So if we talk about API within networking, so let's say there is some database that is hosted on a server, and you want to get the database depending upon the your use case. So let's say you want to get the data of your user, your own user. So and that is user of the GitHub. So there is a GitHub API. So api.github.com. So let's say I want to get my own information. Okay, so there is an API on of GitHub, that is api.github.com/users slash my username. So whenever I try to hit this API, what it does, that it basically returns me the information that I can get from this for this URL, or for this URL, or for this user. So this is basically an API which tends to take some parameters and gives us some values. Okay, so this is one thing, that is API. And what are REST API? So you may also refer to a term called REST API. So API is basically an interface, or a or a or a or a software, you can say, or a mediator. And REST API is basically a standard which, or a architecture which is basically used whenever you deal with networking. Sorry. So REST API is basically a standard, or a some technique which is being used for networking in Android, or I would say in networking generally. Okay, there are different ways as well, but we would be only focusing on REST API. Okay, so what else do we have? Okay, so whenever we talk about something like an API, or something like a REST API, you can either say of them. So you get the data in two format, that is called a JSON and XML. So XML is basically something similar to your code that you do for the UI part. So, and that is not being used anymore. Like that does get used in some places, but not very frequently. Like you won't find that XML in most of the places. Okay, so in most of the places you would be finding only one thing, that is called JSON. Okay, so there's a thing called JSON. So what is a JSON? Okay, oh never mind. Sorry. Uh, let's talk about JSON. So there's a thing called JSON, and there's a thing called JSON. So JSON is basically a generic term that applies to anywhere for every language, and JSON is something specific to Java only. So we would be covering that in few minutes. But first let's talk about the JSON. So JSON is a JavaScript object notation known as JSON, and sorry, and it is basically a format, or a language, you can say, in which you tend to exchange data or store data in human readable form. Okay. So if I just make a simple example of JSON, let me just create a simple example of JSON. So let's say I want to create I want to create a class of students. So or a yeah, or a class of students. So let's say I want to make something like sections. So inside sections, there can be like multiple sections. So how do I like, let's say there's a section called A. Okay. So inside the section, we can have multiple attributes. So first of all, the section may have something called a type. Okay. So inside type, it can have something like bio. Then you can have something okay. So then you can have count. It might be something like the student count. It can be like 4. Then what else? Then what else you can have? So you can also have something like mm, teacher, maybe a teacher is an array. Okay, so so let's say teacher is an array of names. So let's say teacher name A, then B, then C, and so on. Okay, so you can have something like this. Then what else you can have? So you may also have something like okay, so yeah, okay, you can something say like class. This section is of class of something like 12th. Okay, so you get the idea. You can have different properties. So let's just take a look at the this thing. So here you can see this is also an example of JSON. So if you see JSON is nothing but a key value pair. If you are done with if you have ever heard of the term key value pair, or if you have ever had heard the term hash map, you can think of a JSON as a hash map. So hash map, basically you have a key and you have a value. So hash map basically works on the same principle. If you want to get a particular value of or a particular key, you can simply call hashmap dot get and give the value of the key, and you'll get the corresponding value. Similarly, in JSON, everything you want, let's say you want to get the ID. You have to like simply some call simply like JSON dot get ID, and you can get the ID, or you can say simply JSON dot get login, and you can get the login name. This is how you can work with the JSON. Okay, so JSON is basically a standard that is being used everywhere wherever you go. Like if you talk about any startup, any company, any big company, so anywhere you go, you would be following, like you would be seeing this architecture only. Like in most of the big companies, this is the common architecture that is being used, and you have to only understand this thing. That's it. Okay, so so JSON is something that is being used to get the data. Now let's talk about JSON. So what is JSON? So JSON is basically a library that is made by Google to just serialize and deserialize Java objects to JSON. And what do I mean by that? So if you talk about this thing like node ID, this like and HTML URL. So this thing is not like readily readable by something like Java, like Java. So you cannot do something like you get this thing, you just copy paste the thing, and you get all the data. You cannot do that. But in order to do that, you have to use a third party library that is called JSON, that is made by Google, which basically convert this entire information into a Java class object. So for that we need JSON library. So that's second thing. Okay. So we would be using the JSON library when we actually do some code, but right now we won't be doing anything. Okay. So what else? So now, like you know about these 4 terms. Now let's talk about a request. So whenever you like do such thing, like you make an API and you have to interact with the API, you simply say you have to request, or you have to get some data from the API. So what do you mean by that? So for that, let's open the Postman. Okay, so this is a Postman that you can have. So right now, let me just change it to get, and let me just copy the entire URL here. Okay, so this is the Postman, and you can like simply like add the URL here and press on send button. Okay, and you get the result here. You get the result here. You can like see it in the JSON format. You can see it in the XML format, but there's no XML format here. So you can simply see in the JSON only, because this is being used as a JSON. Okay. So whenever you do this thing, so this is the data that you get. But other than that, you get a lot of other data as well. So if you go to headers, you can see there is a lot of other information that you are getting here. So let's say you are getting something like content type, that is called application JSON. Then you have information called server. Then there is a thing called status. Then we have a cache control. And yes, so we do have a lot of different things here. So first of all, let's try to understand a few terms that are being used in the normal networking. So first thing is called a GET request. So what do you mean by GET request? So if we see, there are a lot of different requests here, but we mostly deal with the top four and five. Okay, that is GET, POST, PUT, PATCH, and DELETE. So now let's try to try to understand all of these. So what is a GET request? So whenever you want to like get some information out of the server or out of the API, you usually make a GET request. So GET request is basically you send some information and you get some information, and you send the information in terms of here I have sent the information as my username. Okay, so whenever you send any information into the URL itself, and you want to get some information, that is called a GET request. Then next, we talk about the post request. So what do you mean by post request? So post basically means posting something or sending some actual data. So let's say you want to make some changes to the username, or you want to upload a photo. That case, you would be making a post request. Okay, that is sending some new data or adding some new data. Then we have a request called patch request. So what is a patch request? Patch is basically changing some values. Let's say you can either use the patch or the post request. That depends upon the API, like how that API has been made. But whenever you want to update anything, that is usually done using a patch. Like if you want to update the username, you want to update your mobile number. In that case, things are usually done with the patch request. Okay. Then finally we have something called a delete request. Delete, as the name suggests, that then in that case you have to like delete the account, or you have to delete some information from the database. So in that case you use the delete request. Okay, so these are the four type of requests that you usually encounter or usually handle with. Okay, then next if you see here, then we have to get requests. Okay. Okay, so here if you can see, there's a thing called Agarwal Pulkit 596. So if I try to break it down, this entire URL into something into more basic, you can simply say this HTTPS is the protocol that on this API is working on. Then the api.github.com is the base URL, or the server URL that you need to have in order to make any request. Then whenever you write something slash Agarwal Pulkit slash users, so that is something that is part of the URL, that is dynamic URL. That is not a static URL. Like this, if you try to write anything, like if you try to write ABC, you get something like ABC. So that is like a different thing for every URL. So that is not meant like this developer have created all the different URL. Like if you try to write A, this will work. If you try to write B, obviously this will work, because there are users which have these names, but that doesn't mean that a developer have created this thing. So this is basically called you can say this as do I say you can say this as path. So this is basically a wildcard thing. So here you can send anything. This is basically a wildcard, or I would say this is a thing called path. So you are basically changing the path here. Like if you are like changing, if you are changing anything here. So if you change the path here, the database or the information that you want to get will be changed. Okay. Then we have something called a query param. So for that, okay. So you can see there's a URL which I have written here. So search slash users, then question mark q, that then my name. So what do I mean by that? So whenever you write something after the question mark, that is the part of the query params. Okay. So query params, basically you want to make a query depending upon some information, and you want to get the result. So these are basically, you can see query params are basically written here. That is key and the value. So for the key we have q in short form of query, and that this key or the query param key depends upon the developer, that how they have developed this thing. And value something like can be anything, like in this case I want to like just search my username. That's why I've used this thing. If we see, whenever I search this thing, I get three different users. That is this thing, this, then my username, and then another username. So you get different username. But let's say I use my username. That case I should get only one user. Okay. But this if you like try to match this thing with the previous result, things are a bit different. Like right now I'm getting something like I total count, incomplete results, items, and before that I was just getting something like this. Things are a bit different. Okay, so this was a path, or like a pending part of the URL, and the other thing was a query param. So these are two things that you should be like aware of when you are dealing with the networking. So other than that, there's one more thing that is called a status code. Okay, so what are status codes? So let me just, okay, so so there are a list of different HTTP status code that you should be aware of. So whenever you get something like 200, so 201, 202, 204, they all depend upon different. They are different things. Like you should be like aware of them. So if you are getting something like 200, that means the request was successful, and it has been like completed successfully, and the work which you wanted to do, or which you wanted to get has been done. Okay, so let's say you are getting something like 300. So this means that you are being redirected to some other website, or you are being redirected to some other URL or some other endpoint. Then if you are getting the 400, that means the information that you sent was not valid, or you had some incomplete thing, or you wasn't like authorized to make such requests. Okay. And if you try to make a if you make try to make a request and you get 500, that means you are getting some internal error, or that means the server is not able to fulfill your request. That means you are sending something which server is not aware of. Like let's say uh, if I do this thing, I should be getting okay, I am getting 500. So let's say I just make this thing. Okay, so I am just getting 404. There should be like pattern in which I get 500 as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm not able to get anything right as of now. Okay. Okay, so I'm just getting 404 here. Okay, so never mind. But we'll see example in which we get the 500 as, response code as well. Okay, so these are different response code. You can just read about them. You can like go through all of them and try to like take a look at them. You don't need to like learn them. People generally don't ask this thing, but like you should be aware of the some of the common term. Like you should be aware of the 404 or 403. They are just some common things you should be aware of. Okay, so yeah, so that's another thing. What else? So there's one other another thing that is called headers or authorization. So header are basically you can say that header are basically some information that you want to send hidden into the URL. So let's say you want to make your own request. Like let's say you want to make some changes to your account. So in order to make some changes to your account, you should be like authorized enough, or you should be using some things, or you should be like you should be not using a token in order to make the server understand that this is you only which is making the request. So when you're doing this thing, you should be like you can send like let's say you have a token, you have a password, something like ABC123. Okay, so if I like there's a API called github.slash/login. Okay, so let's say you have an API called something like this, then you want to log in and you say something like email equals to Agarwal Pulkit, and you say your password as like this 123456. Okay, so if you see here, anyone can read your password from the URL. So if you try to do such thing, anyone can read your password. Okay, and similarly, if you want to let's say you want to send some token, anyone can read your token. So generally, whenever you want to send some information that is like a crucial information, and that shouldn't pass as like query params, you can use headers to pass that information. Header are basically part of the request which are not visible to the visible inside the URL, but they are passed as a parameter to the server. And there's another thing that is called authorization. So authorization is basically authentication of your of that URL of that request that you're making with some token or something. Okay, but that can generally be done using the header as well. Like if you send a token into the headers, you can like deal with it. So I guess that was it. That was all about the basic understanding of networking. So in the next session, we would be like starting with some networking part in Android, and we would be using the OK HTTP library and the retrofit library in order to do the networking. So if you are not aware of them, you can like just go to Google and just try to read about them, like like what is that, what they do, and why do we need them. Okay, and I would also suggest that you should should make you should like try to make some more try to learn about some more things into the internet or the networking, like how what is the difference between the HTTPS and the HTTP. Like I'm guessing like most of you people know about this thing, but still you should be like aware of this thing, because in an interview people might ask this thing like if you don't send things about on the HTTPS, what would happen, and if you send something like in the query params, what would happen. Okay, so you should be like you should learn about some more things, although we would be covering topics as we go along the series, but you should be you should learn things on your own. Okay, so that's it. Thank you. We would be doing the next session on the next week. Okay, so yeah, that's it.